until 11 p.m., I will still be the Shaper. Come and kill me. Get some stuff signed.
Nerds dancing.
It'll be amazing. It's going to be a great
this
party.
so fun.
Look forward to seeing you in a few hours. And thank you, everyone, for a really good ExileCon. Thanks. Thank you so much.
Or maybe they're gonna announce ExileCon again. Wait, maybe that's why they're showing this. Maybe there's... Look at that, 97k watching. ExileCon again, guys. 100k. Woo.
Hi, I'm Chris Wilson from Grinding Gear Games. Thanks for joining us today as we reveal Path of Exile's next expansion, Lake of Calandra, which launches on PC and Mac on August 19th, and on Xbox and PlayStation on August 24th. Twitch drops are enabled for today's livestream, so make sure you follow the instructions below to link your account and earn your Wrangler wings. Here's what you can expect from today's livestream. First, we'll debut the trailer for the Lake of Calandra expansion, and then dive into its challenge league. We'll discuss the further improvements we're making to Path of Exile's endgame in this release.
Ooh, okay.
There's a slew of new unique items for us to cover, and also a broad power boost to many different uniques. We've got a selection of new skill and support gems to reveal, and are excited to unveil our plans for revamping 3 past leagues.
Ooh.
Then we'll cover more details about game balance, before revealing this league's new supporter packs and what's going to happen in the lead up to launch next week. Our livestream ends with a Q&A session hosted by Ziggy D,
So
where you
many
can
people
ask
are
me your
watching their
questions in
Twitch
Twitch
because of
chat.
drops.
Then
Yeah,
we'll post the
but
full patch
still.
notes for you to check out.
That's still a lot of people
But before
who
we show you the
purposely
trailer for Lake of
decided to click on the
Calandra, I
stream.
wanted to talk to you about ExileCon. Back in 2019, we were ready to announce Path of Exile 2 and Path of Exile Mobile.
They are
and we
gonna
wanted
announce.
to do it with a bang. We filled a venue with thousands of Path of Exile fans from around the world and ran our first ExileCon convention. It was an amazing experience, full of fans interacting with developers, and everyone who attended can vouch for the amazing energy at the event. Announcing Path of Exile 2 on that stage was one of the highlights of my life.
Okay.
Since then, we've been hard at work on Path of Exile 2. Now that we are getting close to release, we will finally be ready to announce the date that the closed beta starts at ExileCon 2023.
Oh!
We're holding ExileCon 2023 in Auckland, New Zealand, on the weekend of the 29th and 30th of July 2023. In addition to the beta start date, we'll also be announcing everything there is to know about new
That's
game
sick.
systems, character classes, items, and so on. Attendees will be able to play Path of Exile 2
Hey,
and
Kobo.
Path of Exile Mobile, see all the presentations live, meet our development team, hang out with their favorite
Well, they
streamers,
will
and
just
much more.
announce when the closed
The
beta
first wave
starts.
of tickets will go on sale in 2 weeks. We'll make a news post tomorrow with more information so that you have time to determine if you're able to attend before the tickets go on sale.
Shit, I
We are
kind of
so
want to go.
excited to finally talk about what we've been working on, and to let some of you experience the next generation of action RPGs. In the meantime, we have a strong lineup of Path of Exile 1 expansions underway, and today we're proud to unveil Path of
Yeah,
Exile Lake
will
of
be announced in
Calandra, which launches
2023,
next
yeah.
week.
Okay, look, guys, let's go. Shh. Shh. Let's go. Is it quiet? A bit louder.
Exile, you have wandered far to arrive at the shores of my lake. A hidden realm I have overseen for longer than time itself.
Synthesis!
These waters harbor deadly secrets. Rayclast is reflected here. Reassemble it as you see fit. But the mirror distorts reality. Beware the image that strikes back.
Kalandra challenge league. Ooh, she's a bird lady. Or new gems. New uniques. Okay. Harvest rework, yes, beyond rework.
The lake calls you, Exile. Will you endure?
Wow, this
Will
league
you
mechanic looks
drown?
kind of cool. She is a bird. No, ultimate item, I didn't catch that. What was the third league? I was looking at the things I didn't read things.
In the Calandra Challenge League, you will travel to the mirrored lake that granted Calandra her powers of reflection. We want you to experience the story for yourself, so I'll avoid spoiling the details here. When you get to explore the league next week, you'll find out more about Calandra and her motivations.
Nice.
Your experience with Calandra so far is probably of her coveted mirror, which duplicates items by reflecting them. The lake itself has the power to reflect entire encounters from elsewhere in Rayclust. As you explore the lake, these reflections emerge from its mirrored surface. Sometimes these reflections are encounters with hordes of monsters, and sometimes you'll encounter extremely powerful foes, reflected from elsewhere in Rayclust.
Okay.
Often, reflections involve league content, such as this encounter with a Harbinger boss.
Okay.
As you play through the league, you'll occasionally encounter a set of columns protruding from the ground, with a mirrored tablet on top. This tablet invites you to construct a custom set of encounters at the Lake of Calandra, offering a series of different reflections to place in whatever layout you wish. Each of these reflections represents an encounter that you must defeat when you next travel to the lake.
Okay.
Once you have assigned a reflection to every location on your mirrored tablet, which will take a few areas, you can open a portal to the Lake of Calandra itself.
Ooh.
There you will get to experience these reflections of Rayclust as Calandra manifests each encounter you have chosen.
You're too late. No, it just started, Ashes.
But as you push farther out onto the lake-shrouded waters, you will find each encounter to be more difficult, but more rewarding.
Difficulty 5.
This difficulty value counts up by 1 for each location away from the entrance the encounter is.
Huh.
Players wanting the best rewards will try to engineer tablets that have long, windy strings of encounters, reaching very high difficulty values by the end. To do this, there are occasional options that can be chosen which allow you to move and swap the entrance, reflections, and water tiles on the tablet.
Some sort of custom map, yeah. It is like a custom
Additionally,
map.
as you progress through the league, you'll be able to unlock special abilities that let you manipulate the options you have available on each tablet. If you don't like any of the choices available to you, you can earn the ability to skip picking one entirely. The next ability is even stronger. It lets you re-roll the list of options so that you can immediately pick another one.
Ooh.
Finally, you can earn the ability to exile a choice entirely. For the rest of this tablet, that choice will no longer appear.
Cool.
Once you reach maps, you'll be able to itemize your mirrored tablets so that they don't have to be played immediately. They can be stored for later or traded with other players.
Nice. Okay.
As you visit the Lake of Calandra to attempt your mirrored tablets, there are many types of rewards you can find.
What is the
An encounter
difficulty
that is based on a past league implicitly grants the rewards from that league, but with extra juice so that you're not missing out on bonuses you'd have obtained if your Atlas tree applied to the lake.
Cool.
Other encounters that aren't based on past leagues generally yield a reward chest that rises out of the lake when you complete the encounter.
Okay.
Certain reflections grant you access to a new variation on rare items, exclusive to the Calandra Challenge League. When you complete the encounter, you'll get access to some reflecting mist, which presents you with a difficult choice. It generates a rare ring or amulet with an unusual set of mods. Some are very high, and some are very negative, which hurt your character.
Okay.
The item is then duplicated, with a reflected copy having inverse mods. Negative ones are now positive, and vice versa.
Oh,
The amount that all of these mods are scaled up by is based on the difficulty of the encounter you just completed. You may only pick one of these items to keep.
Wow. Okay, but you can't
It'll often be
modify
a
the
tough
mirror.
choice, with each item having its own strong pros and cons. But sometimes, you'll be offered an item where the negative mods aren't downsides for your build, and the juiced up positive mods are very attractive.
Holy shit, 105
There are also
strength.
some special new jewelry base types that you can rarely receive from this process.
Jeez.
One rare and difficult encounter rewards you with an advanced version of this crafting process. It allows you to bring your own ring or amulet, distorting and reflecting it with the same process described before. The mods are scaled up in value and some are randomly negated.
Whoa.
The reflected copy has the inverse set of negations. It will certainly be tempting to gamble with some of your best jewelry to try to double the values that really matter for your build and negate the ones you don't care about.
Whoa!
If you're very lucky, you may find a special League-exclusive unique ring at the lake. Calandra's touch mirrors the effect of your other ring. The Calandra Challenge League has something for everyone. It's an out-of-area combat league where you build your own sequences of encounters. It lets you fully dictate your desired level of risk and reward and fully customize what content you play. It features a powerful crafting system, valuable rewards, and offers a glimpse into the lore of one of Path of Exile's most iconic characters.
Quite flexible.
We can't wait to play it with you next week.
178 live, yeah, like what the fuck. Endgame improvements,
In every
guys.
expansion leading up to Path of Exile 2's release, we'll be improving Path of Exile's endgame with new content to explore and new ways to customize your endgame experience.
Okay.
In the Lake of Calandra expansion, we're introducing Atlas Memories. They aren't a League feature, they're part of the core game, affecting standard and persisting once the Calandra League has ended.
Okay.
In maps, you'll very rarely find a memory item, which represents a set of memories that an NPC has about their past. Something special happened to them while exploring maps, and you're able to experience those events for yourself.
Ooh.
Let's have a look at a couple of examples. In this Atlas memory, Kirik tells you about the time that he stumbled across a staging ground for a Harbinger invasion of Rayclust. Each successive map you play in the sequence has more and more Harbinger portals and invaders that you must deal with.
Ooh.
This is a memory of Nikos, where he entered a sequence of maps that were entirely consumed by permanent breaches, like a Breachlord's domain. He survived to talk about it, but will you?
Wow, that's so awesome.
Right-click a memory and apply it to a completed map on your Atlas. It'll mark out a series of adjacent maps that the Atlas memory will span. When you next talk to the relevant
Nice.
NPC in your hideout, they'll tell you about their recollections and will allow you to start exploring the memory. Each map in the sequence is
Whoa.
provided for free by
Yeah, I
the NPC,
like that a
and you'll be
lot.
able to roll it like usual before running it. Because these maps are memories of the NPC, they are not affected by your Atlas tree. However, the content is generally as difficult and rewarding as a fully specialized Atlas tree would cause it to be.
Wow, that's really cool. Like Kirak's missions, but
Each successive map in the
But,
sequence
like,
gets harder and more rewarding as the
more
memories intensify.
interesting.
While memories are tradable, they're also very rare and valuable, so you'll probably want to complete them yourself if you can.
yeah, I want to complete them myself.
For players who love lore, Atlas memories help expand on the backstory of key NPCs. For players wanting to try out different League mechanics at quite high levels of juice that they haven't specialized their Atlas for, memories let them do this without a bunch of respecking. And for everyone else, Atlas memories are a great way to earn some valuable items, if you're strong enough to complete them.
Dude.
The Lake of Calandra expansion also contains a new unique map that I'm quite excited about. The Trial Master is back. This boss from Ultimatum, and more importantly the unique items he drops, have been sorely missed and will be making a return as the Tower of Ordeal's unique map in Lake of Calandra. This map can be created by completing difficult endgame Val content. We have not forgotten about the rest of Ultimatum and have a specific plan for how it will return in the future.
Okay. Did I
Whenever
just
we're
wake up?
improving
No,
Path
I
of
have to go
Exile's
to sleep.
endgame,
I
we
have
take
to wake
every
up very
opportunity we can to add new variations of rewards that you can find. We don't want to say too much about how these are acquired, but in this expansion it's possible to very rarely find special foil versions of any pinnacle boss unique item. These have the same stats as regular ones, but are certain to be highly prized by collectors or wealthy players wanting to show off.
early. Okay, well, whatever. Don't care.
The Lake of
Show-offs.
Calandra expansion
I don't
contains
know if it's
14
show-off.
new unique items. In addition to the Calandra's Touch ring that is exclusive to the Calandra Challenge League, we have introduced a new endgame pinnacle boss reward, a supporter unique, the Tower of Ordeal's unique map, 6 new Grand Spectrum jewels, and even some leveling uniques.
Oh, Grand Spectrum.
The
dude.
first we're showing you today is Soul Ascension, a pair of gloves designed by Zizaran. They drop from the Uber Elder. Soul Eater is a very powerful buff, but it is usually hard to obtain in boss fights. This unique grants you the ability to gain stacks of Soul Eater when you hit a unique enemy, but also makes you lose those stacks if you aren't near one.
Okay.
Ghost Wraith is a leveling unique which allows you to play as an almost pure energy shield character during early parts of the campaign. We'll reveal the other new unique items in this expansion over the next week.
14 new? No, 15
Path of
new.
Exile has a lot of unique items in its core drop pool. Over 700 in fact. We feel that there are two big problems with unique items at the moment. The first is that you find too many, and the second is that they are generally pretty useless when you do. Sure, there are some powerful endgame or build-enabling uniques that feel amazing to find, but the majority of unique items found throughout the game are rarely actually useful to you.
Okay.
In the Lake of Calandra expansion, we have made a lot of changes here. We have reduced the overall drop rate of uniques throughout the game and have rebalanced and overhauled over 100 existing unique items, with an emphasis on uniques in the core drop pool, including leveling uniques and some endgame uniques. You're going to find unique items less frequently now, but when you do, they're going to be a lot more punchy.
I mean, I'm okay with that.
Nyx's Lantern has been completely changed from the ground up. Previously, it was trying to allow you to play a hybrid attacker and spellcaster, but it didn't really work very well. With the new design, it's a lot more elegant and delivers on this goal by simply granting high damage and the Battle Mage effect, so that your weapon damage is added to your spells. Thousand Ribbons is an example of an item where we merely needed to tweak values on the existing mods to make it a lot better. We want mod value rolls to matter more, and this item now showcases that well.
Okay.
If you find a high rolled one early on, you're probably not replacing it for a long time.
Okay. I mean, still.
Malachi's Simula was trying to deliver the Blood Mage fantasy by allowing you to spend life to cast your spells. This was meant to be special because the Blood Magic Keystone was far away from the Witch starting location on the skill tree. Unfortunately, this item wasn't really powerful enough to justify its use. It has now been overhauled, and alongside Blood Magic, it grants a powerful multiplicative damage boost. With over 100 uniques rebalanced in this way, your play experience is now punctuated by quite large bursts of power when you find one. We'll continue to examine the power level and rarity of more unique items in subsequent expansions.
Nice.
The Lake of Calandra expansion includes 3 new skill gems and 1 new support gem.
What am I gonna start with? Here we go.
Alchemist's Mark is a new mark skill. Igniting or poisoning the marked target creates burning or caustic ground underneath them, based on the damage of the strongest ignite or poison on the enemy.
I mean, that's pretty cool. That's really
The damage of the ground effects also scales with Curse and Mark effect, providing a non-standard way to scale your build's damage.
That is actually really
Hitting
good
the marked target also refills some of your flask charges.
That is really good for...
This new skill opens up an extra source of damage for Ignite or Poison-focused characters, especially for Ignite builds that want an alternative to Flame Surge, or Poison builds that cause fewer, higher damage poisons.
Exactly.
This high-level build uses Flame Blast, with 100% of the damage converted to Chaos, to inflict huge poisons on enemies. When Alchemist's Mark is cast on an enemy first, that enemy drops Caustic Ground when it's poisoned, scaled by those big Flame Blast poison hits, melting everything into a puddle.
Actually pretty cool.
Galvanic Field is a new shock-themed spell. When used, you gain a buff, granting a small bonus chance to shock. When you next shock an enemy, the buff is consumed and the enemy becomes energized, repeatedly zapping themselves and nearby targets, a lot like Ball Lightning.
But you can walk
If the
around.
energized enemy dies, then the energy sits at their location and continues to zap things. Galvanic Field's area of effect and zap damage scale with the strength of the shock on the target. While Galvanic Field is great for any build that shocks, you can even fully build around it, and use a skill with increased shock effectiveness like Arc to shock enemies and kill them with a ball of death. Lightning Conduit is another new shock-themed spell. A wave propagates out from the target location, causing lightning bolts to strike all shocked enemies in a large area. The damage is scaled by the strength of the shock on each enemy. Lightning Conduit cannot itself shock and won't hit non-shocked enemies at all, so the challenge with this skill is to find a way to consistently apply powerful shocks to your targets to make the most of Lightning Conduit's high damage potential and area of effect.
So this is 2-button skill.
This high-level build uses Wave of Conviction to shock enemies, before casting Lightning Conduit until they're obliterated. For longer fights, it can employ Galvanic Field to create a constant source of lightning damage. Last but not least, Overcharge Support is a new support gem that causes supported skills to deal less damage, but makes them inflict much stronger shocks and grants them a higher chance to shock. Overcharge lets many different lightning skills create powerful shocks. Use this to take advantage of Shock's large damage multiplier, or to activate Lightning Conduit and Galvanic Field.
Okay. Cock shock.
As Path of Exile expands, we often revisit previous leagues, reworking them so they stay relevant and engaging.
AoE.
In Lake of Calandra, we are targeting 3 such leagues: Arch Nemesis, Beyond, and Harvest.
Arch Nemesis.
The larger context here is that we've been re-examining what role rare and magic monsters have in Path of Exile. The introduction of Arch Nemesis modifiers as the monster mod pool prompted quite a lot of discussion about how often you should encounter rare and magic monsters, how difficult they should be to kill, and how rewarding their deaths should be.
What was it? Just new rare
Previously,
mods.
League content made fights hard by spawning a lot of rare monsters. A whole lot. In some cases 6 to 8 times the normal rate of rare monsters.
Yep.
Now that we have better mods available to make fights against rare monsters individually challenging, we have gone through the whole game and normalized the rate that rare monsters are spawned at. Some leagues had quite large reductions in spawn rate. You won't encounter situations with dozens of rare monsters on screen at once anymore. Alongside this reduction of how many rare monsters you'll face, we have improved their rewards and made sure that they scale with both difficulty of the encounter and any item rarity or quantity bonuses that you have.
Okay.
During the campaign, you'll only encounter 1 and 2 mod rare monsters. The 2 mod encounters are a bit harder and have better drops. In maps, you'll stop encountering 1 mod rare monsters entirely, and will mostly encounter 2 and 3 mod rare monsters. It'll also be possible to encounter 4 mod rare monsters again. Not only are the innate item drop bonuses scaled up significantly on monsters with many mods, but we have made these challenging encounters rewarding in another way too.
Incendiary. Good job.
About a third of the more powerful arch-nemesis modifiers now use a special reward conversion system. For example, if you defeat a monster with a corruptor mod, all of its drops become corrupted.
So they're doing something like what
The Solaris Touched mod converts all of its item drops to maps.
Yeah. They're adding those rewards that used
The
to be
Katava
in
Touch mod will cause the
Arch-Nemesis.
rarity of its drops to be upgraded by 1 tier, so magic becomes rare, rare becomes unique, and so on. If you're lucky, you can find these conversion modifiers on both the 3rd and 4th mod of a rare monster. This causes them to stack together. So if you kill a 4 mod rare monster with both the Entangler and Katava Touched mods on it, its heavily juiced drops will also be converted to jewels with their rarity upgraded by a tier.
This is what it should have
Due
been,
to the
yep.
high amount of inherent item rarity that 4 mod rare monsters have, this may result in several unique jewels dropping.
Can you trigger
This conversion
a
system is
Arch-Nemesis
fully
mods?
compatible with your item rarity and
I mean,
quantity
it's
bonuses,
on normal
as well as
rare
the drop
monsters.
bonuses
It's
from
a
all other
default
Arch-Nemesis mods.
Rare monster mods
Going
now.
forward, we want to make sure that a lot more item reward mechanics scale with your character item
This
bonuses.
is so much better than
Get your magic
Sentinels.
find
I mean,
characters
this
ready.
is just the core mechanic.
As a result of
Arch-Nemesis.
this system, when you do encounter a rare monster with many Arch-Nemesis mods, you are well rewarded for the difficult fight.
Like, Arch-Nemesis is just like a core part of the game now, so...
We have also been listening to feedback about the Arch-Nemesis mods that can spawn on magic monsters. Too many of them had external visual clarity issues, like on-death effects. We have toned these down on magic monsters so that more of them are stat-based bonuses that aren't so spammy. Encounters that spawn a series of magic monsters now make sure to preserve the same Arch-Nemesis modifiers between the monsters rather than rolling a different one for each monster. This will further help keep the
This is
game
some
state
zero
understandable
DPS
in
build.
hectic situations.
The
Beyond was
DPS.
introduced in August 2014,
Okay,
initially
Beyond.
as a hardcore-only challenge league. It's 8 years old now and certainly has several issues. Firstly, the art. Have you ever really taken a close look at a Beyond demon? It is literally a bandit from Act 2, dunked in red paint. The second issue is its balance. The number of magic and rare monsters spawned is so much higher than the rest of the game, and whatever problems that resulted in before are magnified now that rare monsters are meant to be more difficult.
Yeah.
Beyond also spawns way too many unique bosses, which causes its own set of issues. In Lake of Calandra, we have given Beyond much more than a fresh coat of paint. The Scourge have taken over the realm of the Beyond demons. The old bandit Beyond
Scourge?
demons are gone. Summoning monsters from Beyond will now summon Scourge monsters and
Scourge
bosses.
monsters!
We have completely rebalanced the rate that Beyond monsters and bosses spawn at, so that it's appropriate for modern Path of Exile. The new Beyond monsters can now occasionally drop the Scourge League's tainted currency items that allow you to modify corrupted items.
Currencies! Fuck yeah! So worth!
We've also completely revamped how harvest crafting works.
Scourge
Rather than being presented with a selection of crafting options that must be used immediately, you now receive itemized tradable life force of the appropriate color. This life force can be used later, in your own time, at the Hoarder crafting bench in your hideout. Its crafting options are now priced in terms of this itemized life force currency.
Wait, what?
Tier 4 bosses are now encountered much more frequently and can drop a key to fight a Shabi. She
Okay.
yields special life force which can be used for a specific set of crafts.
Okay.
We have rebalanced all harvest crafts for the new system and have removed a bunch of filler crafts and some ones with deterministic outcomes that were incredibly RNG gated before.
Okay.
Some crafts that provided access to exclusive content, like the special offerings to the goddess, have been removed because these items can now be found in more appropriate locations elsewhere in the game. The result of these changes is that when you complete a harvest, you aren't presented with 30 crafts which must either be used immediately or unsafely traded to some player you found in a community Discord server.
What?
It also means that every bit of life force you receive is going towards a craft that you actually want to use on one of your items
You
when
just
you're ready to use
saved
it.
the crafts in your
Your
crafting
interaction with the
pages
Sacred
is
Grove is now far
infinite.
simpler as well. Just enter, pick your plots, defeat the monsters, and get on with your mapping. Like with Arch Nemesis and beyond, we have also addressed the monster composition of Harvest's fights, so that it doesn't contain too many rare monster mods and so that it is of appropriate difficulty for its rewards. In addition,
Harvest
the rewards for
back on the
Harvest now
menu,
scale with map
boys.
quantity and pack size, incentivizing you to juice your maps.
Whoa.
Previously, the crafts you received were not scaled up at all if you played a harder map. Last week, we posted this expansion's character balance manifesto, which detailed the many changes we're making in Lake of Calandra.
Well, I still need
There
to
are
rewatch
plenty
that
more
again.
changes, which we will
I'm too
include in the full
my
patch
brain
notes
is
that
not
will be posted
computing.
after this live stream. But on this stream, I'd like to talk about a few
though.
specific areas: minion itemization, exalted and divine orbs, and the trickster ascendancy class.
Exalted and Divine Orbs? Wait, what?
Historically, minion builds have not been particularly reliant on the stats of their items. Most of the power of their minions came from their skill and support gems. This led to a few problems. Firstly, it gave them a bit of a free ride compared to most other character builds. And secondly,
one good
it meant
craft
that it was
this week
hard for
from
minion
Harvest.
players to
I got
actually
2.
specialize their character to be really good.
I sold them.
We want to solve both of these problems in this expansion. Path of Exile is a game about items, and that means that you will now be strongly rewarded for finding items that make your minions better. It also means that, like with other builds, if you find good items, you'll be far more damaging and survivable than before. We described a variety of minion changes in last week's character balance manifesto. Today I want to show you the new base item types we have added to help your minion itemization.
Okay.
We've added a new ring base type, the Bone Ring. This ring has implicit minion elemental resistances and can roll minion related modifiers.
Minion speed, minion damage? Not bad.
We've added level 20 and 50 versions of the Convoking Wand, called the
For
Calling
lucky
Wand
exit
and Covening Wand
tier 1 rare is
respectively.
pretty good.
Like the Convoking Wand, these new base
Bone
types can
Ring.
roll minion-related modifiers. Some new minion-related mods have been added to the pool available to these wands, and some existing mods have been adjusted or made more common. We have repurposed the bone-themed spirit shields so that they have minion damage implicit mods rather than spell damage, and can also roll minion-related mods.
Oh, all minion skill gems you can roll.
Alongside the stable of existing unique items, there's now quite a lot more base type support for minion characters, and good mods on those base types can stack
Minion
up to some
crit is
pretty large
pog,
bonuses for your minions. I also wanted to discuss 2 of the rarest currency items in Path of Exile,
Okay, let's see.
Divine Orbs and Exalted Orbs. These actually have the same drop rate, but Exalted Orbs are worth so much more in trade because there's no easy vendor recipe for them, and because they're consumed when you craft certain meta mods onto items.
Okay.
Out of these 2 currency items, we would actually prefer the Divine Orb effect to be rarer, so that unique items with good rolls matter more, and so that players can exalt craft their items more frequently.
Okay.
We are making 2 changes that will impact this. Firstly, we are changing the cost of crafting meta mods so that they cost Divine Orbs rather than Exalted Orbs.
Okay. And
Secondly,
6 link is not
we
going
are
to give
changing
you.
the 6-link vendor recipe to grant 20 orbs of fusing rather than a Divine Orb.
No.
This change will result in Exalted Orbs being far more available for crafting, and Divine Orbs less available for re-rolling mods on items.
Divines are going to be
It'll
so
certainly
rare.
be interesting to see what the de facto trade currency becomes next league.
Divines are going to be so expensive. Divines are going to be
Next,
so
I'd like to talk about the
valuable.
Trickster Ascendancy class. We haven't been happy with the state of this Ascendancy class recently. While it used to be quite powerful, we moved its defining feature, Ghost Dance, onto the main passive skill tree. Since then, it has had a confused identity and hasn't met the power level of the other Ascendancy classes. In this expansion, we have reworked the Trickster with a focus on establishing thematically appropriate defenses and ways to manipulate speed.
Dude, you need some AoE.
One step ahead allows the Trickster to manipulate time in an interesting way. Enemies are slower than normal and cannot have their action speed raised above this value, such as through an acceleration shrine. Conversely, the Trickster is faster by default and cannot have action speed lowered below this value, effectively making them immune to effects that lower action speeds such as freeze, chill, or temporal chains.
Ooh.
Spellbreaker ties together spell suppression and energy shield in a powerful way. Spellbreaker grants some spell suppression chance, which is an effect that reduces damage taken from spells. The skill also starts your energy shield recharge half the time you suppress spells. Since Trickster characters tend to have a high evasion rating, you will be evading some hits and recharging on others, meaning that your energy shield recharge stays active most of the time. Spellbreaker also further improves defenses by reducing the damage you take from suppressed spells while on full energy shield. For those that want a different way to recover energy shield, the powerful Soul Drinker notable passive is no longer exclusive to Forbidden Jewels from the Uber-Searing Exarch and Eater of Worlds. Any Trickster can now allocate this skill. Polymath provides more bonus damage, life, mana, and energy shield on kill for each different type of mastery you have allocated.
Oh.
It reinforces the idea of a Trickster being a jack of all trades, and will lead to
Different
interesting
type of
decisions
mastery.
when planning your passive tree, trying to fit in as many
Life
different
on
types
kill,
of masteries as possible.
Life on
Overall,
kill.
the new Trickster is intended to be the Shadow's answer to the Champion, but faster. He should be an exciting option for players who want to get a lot of evasion, energy shield, and recovery out of their Ascendancy class while still being able to melt enemies.
Yeah, but where do you get damage from?
Alongside today's livestream, we're launching
let's
two
see.
new series of supporter packs, the Knight and Rogue packs.
Knight
Each
and
tier
Rogue.
contains the pack's full face value and points, plus several exclusive microtransactions. These packs are only available during the Calandra League and will leave the store forever in 3 months.
Okay,
Every
let's see.
microtransaction you're about to see is entirely cosmetic and does not affect your character's progression or power.
Yeah, so far the
The Knight pack series contains 6 exclusive microtransactions, including the full Knightmaster armor set. The Aetheric Mana Flask releases a burst of mana upon activation, then draws in energy from the environment as your mana refills.
Pretty cool.
The Hoarder's Stash is a stash skin that can be used in your hideout. As you place items in the stash, they hover above it until you're finished, before being sucked into storage.
Wow, that's so cool!
This is the Knightmaster
I actually
armor
want
set.
that.
While wearing its helmet, your actions are periodically duplicated by an ethereal copy of yourself.
Whoa, that is so cool. That's actually so fun.
The Blood-Scouring Cloak absorbs blood as you slay monsters. It tracks your kill streak and cleans itself off when the slaughter ends. The Ring of the Victor causes a podium to rise up underneath you when you are standing still, elevating you above other players.
That's pretty cool. No, that's pretty cool.
Seek refuge here.
The Warlord's Lieutenant Portal summons a warrior spirit who will greet you, cheer you on, and commend you on your actions.
Hey,
Onward to battle.
that's so cool, actually.
The Rogue Pack series has 6 exclusive microtransactions,
Doggy!
including the Rogue Stalker armor set. The Beast of Burden Pet visually carries your items for you, becoming more laden with bags and packs the more full your inventory gets.
Oh, that's pretty fun, also. Poor guy, who's going
The
to
Collector's Serpent Shield covets the treasure you find. Whenever you pick up an item, the serpent darts out to grab it.
That's pretty funny. These are also fun.
This is the Rogue Stalker armor set. While wearing its gloves, critical strikes cause blades to appear and slice at your enemies.
Wow, actually pay to win. You know when you crit.
The Corpse Bloom footprints cause exotic plant growth in your wake. The plants especially love corpses and will seek them out and grow in larger patches around them.
Oh, that's pretty funny. Oh, that is so cute! Dang, it's so good! Look at it!
On the other hand, the Undertaker's Amulet inters corpses for you, burying them and marking their location with gravestones. The Unstable
Hey there.
Explosives back attachment is not for the faint of heart. As your life gets lower and lower, it gets closer and closer to exploding. And when you die, your party members will certainly feel it. As I mentioned before, these packs are exclusive to the Calandra
100
League
points is
and will
10
leave the
bucks,
store
yeah.
in 3 months. They're available right now at
Wow,
pathofexile.com/purchase,
I like them
and they
both.
directly fund the ongoing development
like
of Path of Exile 2
the
and Path of
box,
Exile 1 expansions like Lake of
And I
Calandra.
like the crit knives,
In
'cause
addition,
then you know
the
you're
supporter
doing
packs introduced with a Sentinel expansion are leaving the store forever in 1 week. Now's your last chance to purchase them, and we greatly appreciate your support. Speaking of things leaving the store, the Curix Vault Pass for Sentinel is only available for the next few days also, and will leave the store forever when the league ends. There's no penalty for purchasing the pass late in the league after you've wrapped up your map completion, so if you're pleased with where you got to in maps and Sentinel and want to lock in your unique skins, it's not too late to buy your pass. Next up, we've got the Q&A with Ziggy D. Once that ends, we'll post the full patch notes for Lake of Calandra. Over the next week, our community team will post teasers for new and revamped unique items, upcoming quality of life improvements, and an announcement for the League launch race event. On launch weekend, we'll be
You
running
need a
another set
person
of
and a
Twitch
doggy?
drops, and expect to release the new mystery box and Curix Vault Pass in the days after launch.
I want the box.
Thanks for joining
and
us and
I
checking out
like the
today's reveals.
knives
We can't wait to see you in Rayclast on August 19th.
From that armor
We'll begin
set.
the Q&A in a few moments, so please get your questions ready in chat.
I think it's really cool. You can see when your crit is it's actually pretty fucking awesome. Most of them pretty fun. Yeah, they are pretty fun. Doggy was cool. The box was cool. I just don't know if I want to spend money. I like it. I mean, something like that box, I'll be using it all the time. Right? Because you just put it in your hideout. But like the body armor, I'm probably not using it that often. You know?